In the far reaches of Antarctica, Fufy was not just another penguin. He carried the weight of his shyness and the insecurity of never feeling good enough. Living in such a vast and cold place had made Fufy accustomed to solitude, but deep down, he longed for connection. He would watch his fellow penguins dance together, hunt for fish, and glide effortlessly across the icy waters with a natural grace that he felt he could never attain. Yet silently, he nurtured a simple desire, to be accepted and perhaps to find someone special. It was when his eyes fell upon Lara, a penguin whose beauty was incomparable. Lara didn't just seem to glide across the ice. Her blue eyes sparkled like stars, and her flawless black and white feathers reflected the Arctic sun with an unattainable elegance. Fufy was instantly swept away by a surge of passion, and over time this admiration grew into something deeper. However, there was one problem. He didn't know how to approach her. Hello everyone. Check if you're already subscribed to the channel and if not, go ahead and subscribe and leave a like. With each failed attempt to get closer, Fufy fell deeper into her fears, believing that her simple and clumsy way would never be enough. So he made a decision. He would transform into the kind of penguin he thought Lara wanted. He spent days and nights researching how to impress someone, studying conquest strategies as if his happiness depended on it. She bought clothes and accessories, practiced postures, and even chose an extravagant fragrance to stand out. With his new appearance, feeling ready, Fufy finally approached Lara, but what he didn't expect was the rejection. She didn't see authenticity in him. "I don't like penguins who pretend to be something they're not," she said bluntly, cutting not only at Fufy's hopes but also at the facade he had so painstakingly built. This rejection, although painful, was the beginning of deep reflection for Fufy. He went back to being the penguin he always was, simple, curious, genuine. And as he embraced who he really was, his life began to transform in unexpected ways. He started doing things that really made him happy. He explored Antarctica, discovered new landscapes, and dedicated time to his passions such as art and dancing without worrying about what others thought. And it was in this process of self-discovery that Fufy made new friends, who accepted him for who he really was. One day, while walking peacefully along the icy beach, he encountered Bupa, a penguin with a simple appearance but with a presence that radiated serenity and confidence. Her soft gray plumage and bright green eyes enchanted him, but this time, Fufy didn't need to hide behind a mask. He simply smiled and approached her, saying, "Hello, how are you?" There were no tricks, no grand gestures, just the sincerity of someone who has already learned the value of being authentic. Bupa, in turn, was captivated by Fufy's naturalness. When they talked, they discovered affinities that went beyond appearance. They shared dreams, ideas, and a worldview that united them in a deep and true way. Little by little, friendship turned into love, and together they built a life based on trust, mutual respect, and, above all, authenticity. Fufy learned the hard way that true love doesn't require us to transform into someone else. On the contrary, it flourishes when we are true to ourselves. And that was the biggest lesson he could learn from his journey. True strength lies in accepting yourself, valuing your own qualities, and being honest with yourself and others. Fufy and Bupa's love became an example for all the penguins around them. They showed that what really matters is not what you wear or what you pretend to be, but the genuine connection that arises between two souls who accept each other as they are. Fufy's journey to finding love and self-confidence was just beginning. After realizing that pretending to be someone he wasn't going to get him anywhere, he decided to delve even deeper into the process of self-discovery. Each day in Antarctica became a new opportunity to learn something about himself and the world around him. On freezing mornings, he would sit at the edge of the freezing sea, watching the reflection of the ice mountains in the calm water. These moments of contemplation brought him a peace he had never experienced. For the first time, he began to appreciate his own qualities. His calm manner, his insatiable curiosity about the world, and his ability to see beauty in the simplest things. He also discovered that his true strength wasn't in trying to be the most outstanding penguin in the group, but rather in becoming the best version of himself. Each day, he would do something that challenged him, whether it was trying to swim further in the ocean, trying new dance moves, or simply being more open with his feelings. And in doing so, he became more authentic, more alive. As Fufy blossomed internally, her relationships with other penguins began to change. What was once a closed circle where he felt excluded was now transformed into a friendship network. Penguins who had previously barely noticed him now approached him, drawn to his renewed energy and calm confidence. And Fufy, instead of isolating herself, welcomed them with open arms, happy to share her stories and experiences without needing to impress anyone. Among these new friends was Bupa, who quickly became his greatest confidant. She was different from anyone he had ever met. His joy was contagious, and his worldview was full of colors and possibilities. Bupa wasn't worried about following rules or expectations, which made her even more charming. She danced in the snow as if the cold didn't exist, painted with the tip of her beak on the cold sand, and her laughs echoed in the air, transforming any place into a welcoming environment. From Bupa, Fufy learned that true love is built on little things. It wasn't big declarations or elaborate gestures that strengthened the bond between them, but the everyday moments they spent together. Peaceful walks under the starry sky, sharing stories about their adventures and dreams, the comfortable silence that hovered when they both just watched the sea, or the mutual support in the most difficult times. All of this built a solid connection which no artificial glamour could overcome. As her relationship with Bupa grew, Fufy was also faced with new challenges. Now that he was more comfortable in his own skin, he realized that there were still aspects of his life that he needed to face. One of them was his old insecurity. Despite all his progress, Fufy still found himself comparing himself to other penguins from time to time. Sometimes he would look at the more athletic ones or those who seemed to be in perfect relationships and feel a pang of doubt. Am I really enough? It was at that moment that Bupa, with her calm wisdom, helped him understand that these doubts were normal, but that they should not define his life. "We all have insecurities, Fufy," she said one cold night as they watched the northern lights shine over the ice. "The secret is not to avoid them but to learn to live with them and know that, despite them, we are whole. You are more than enough, not because you are without flaws but because you are willing to grow and be better every day." These words touched Fufy deeply, and he took them with him on his journey. Little by little, he learned to embrace his imperfections and see value in them. He understood that it was the sum of his strengths and weaknesses that made him unique, and that it was this combination that made people, and especially Bupa, love him. Over time, Fufy and Bupa became not just a couple but life partners. They supported each other at all times, from the happiest to the most challenging. And it was this partnership that taught Fufy the true meaning of love. It's not about perfection or always being in control. Love is allowing yourself to be vulnerable, knowing that you can count on someone who sees your flaws and still chooses to be by your side. This journey also taught Fufy that love doesn't have to be something you frantically search for. It happens naturally when you are at peace with yourself. Fufy never had to look for approval or try to please again. His happiness, previously dependent on external acceptance, was now something he cultivated within himself. And ironically, it was this inner peace that made him attract what he wanted so much: love, true friendships, and a sense of belonging. Over time, Fufy and Bupa became something of a legend among Antarctic penguins. Not because of great feats or extraordinary adventures, but because they represented what every penguin and every being sought: an authentic life full of love and mutual respect. Final reflection. Throughout life, we may be tempted to mold ourselves according to the expectations of others. We may believe that we need to be perfect, always get it right, or stand out in some way. But the truth is that our greatest strength lies in our vulnerability, in our willingness to be who we are with all our flaws and qualities. True love, whether romantic or friendship, arises when we allow ourselves to be authentic. And just as Fufy discovered, when we stop looking externally for what we lack internally, life surprises us in unexpected and beautiful ways. Moral of the story: you don't need to pretend to be someone you're not or follow others' advice to find love. Key lies in building self-confidence, valuing your genuine qualities, and above all, living life fully. Each of us has something unique and attractive, and it's this authenticity that truly connects us with others. couple who loves and respects each other for who they genuinely are radiates a positive energy to the world. And when you least expect it, that special and compatible person will come into your life.